Sofwave is gaining increasing attention in Korea recently. Can you elaborate on development background of this technology and how it addresses the limitation of previous devices, like already you mentioned the profound?
So I mentioned profound, as you said. I'm also, of course, very familiar with what we call HIFU devices for the skin, all the way from the original one by Ultera and then other devices that were developed in Korea and in other places. And I looked at what is out there and I said, there is something missing, because on the one hand, when you look on the invasive devices, such as profound or many other RF microneedling devices that are on the market, they're associated with pain, they're associated with side effects, and they're associated with downtime. And what I did see, and the market evolved like that all over the world, including Korea, is that patients are very sensitive to downtime. I have a good friend that you know very well, Roy Geronimus.
Yes.
And Roy Geronimus, when I started Sofwave, I kind of came to him and he said, listen, I get very good results with fractional ablative lasers. But most of the patients, when I tell them that they will have a downtime of 1 week, say, no, I don't want to do it. So we need a device that is effective but has no downtime in it. And really the idea there was to combine the big power that you can get from ultrasound, especially when you treat small depth, together with the ability to protect the skin by cooling, which is something we have done in the very early days of IPL, and we have done then with lasers and with many other devices. And that really gave us the confidence that we can get very high clinical efficacy together with safety, zero downtime, and very good clinical results. Combined with that, what we did, and that experience we had from profound, if you really want to get a significant skin tightening impact, you want to produce a lot of collagen and elastin. If you want to do that, you need to do thermal stimulation of big volumes in the skin. And when you look on the Sofwave device, we actually use 7 transducers that are operating in parallel. And if you compare it to the volume created by HIFU devices for skin tightening or by RF microneedling, we actually are a factor of 10 more efficient in terms of how much skin we excite. So this is really the basic concept and the basic idea. And as with any new product, it takes time until you start getting market recognition. But now we see excellent follow-up and excellent acceptance of this technology all over the world.
Yeah, especially patients like the Sofwave treatment.
Yes, yes.
Sofwave Medical has taken unique approach to growth, such as raising $160 million on Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. Can you explain the strategic reasons behind choosing TACE over NASDAQ?
So I'm sorry, but you have the number wrong.
Yeah.
We raised only 50 million.
50, not 150.
No. But 50 is still a very nice amount of money. In 2021, when we decided to go public on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, it was a very, let's call it, hot time in terms of IPOs, of public offerings. And we were, as I mentioned, after we got FDA clearance for Sofwave, the market was still not in a very good shape because of Corona or COVID, so you know that very well. And we felt that we need a significant amount of money to really bring the product to market with Sofwave. We were too early for NASDAQ because our revenue was a few $1 million. And with the revenue of a few $1 million, you couldn't go public on NASDAQ. And to raise money from venture capital funds or private investors, the valuation that they were offering wasn't very attractive. This is the reason we have chosen TACE. And it actually worked out very nicely for us. But the fact that we are on Tel Aviv Stock Exchange doesn't mean that we will not sooner or later become also public on NASDAQ.
Also, this question is also, you already briefly mentioned. With the global trend leaning towards non-invasive, painless aesthetic procedures, including in Korea and other global market, how do you foresee the future development of these technologies?
So I think the tendency that we see in the market of patients saying, I don't want downtime, I don't want pain, I want to get an effective treatment, is one thing that will become more and more important. So we will see less procedures done with invasive devices and more procedures done with non-invasive devices. Another trend that we see in the market is younger and younger patients that want to get treatment. And for them, again, the combination of safety and effectiveness becomes more and more demanding. So I believe that energy devices will keep on looking for new ways of doing it. Another parameter which is very important is how long the treatment takes, because for the clinic it has a business meaning. So being able to treat larger areas, shorter times, is another tendency that we will see. And as I'm sure you know, there are many attempts to do robotic things in aesthetic medicine. Nothing really worked, but I believe eventually there will be some applications that will be done robotically as well.
Yeah. So also you briefly mentioned there is a rising tendency of trends of preventive aesthetic procedures, and also in Korea. What is your perspective on growing trends of preventive procedures and also procedures for younger generation?
So I believe that preventive makes sense as long as both the patients and the providers, the doctors, understand that you need to do it in a very controlled manner. And also understand that with preventive, you don't see dramatic results because you will see them 10 or 20 years down the road. With that in mind, because we learned so much about the ability mainly of the skin, of the dermis, to regenerate itself by proper stimulation, I think I feel very comfortable with preventive. And I can tell you, this is something that patients or even sometimes aesthetic doctors don't pay attention to. Our skin stops generating elastin at very young age. And you want to keep now. Elastin, the good thing about it is the lifetime is much, much longer than other biologic polymers. But, you know, adding elastin to the skin at the age of 25 or 30 is a good thing. So I think it's a good thing to do, but you need to do it in a very controlled and balanced manner.
I will gather people together and we will have a preventive aesthetic medicine seminar next month. So may I use your comments to my seminar? Thank you very much. Beyond the sofwave, are there any new products or innovations you are involved in? You can share, and can you share with us?
So one thing that I'm very much involved in is a company I co-founded 6 years ago called Hallura.
Hallura.
That developed a new way of cross-linking of hyaluronic acid. As I'm sure you know, hyaluronic acid, in order for it to survive in the skin, needs to be cross-linked, because otherwise it is decomposed by hyaluronidase. So, and what almost all the HA products out there now are doing is to do cross-linking using what's called BDDE. BDDE is a molecule that in order to create cross-linking, you need to take the hyaluronic acid to a very high temperature and a very high pH, which is a very aggressive environment. The end result is actually cross-linked HA, which survives in the skin, and you are familiar with HA fillers. But the problem is that when you do it in this very aggressive manner, you end up breaking the molecules, which are very large molecules of HA, into much smaller pieces. These much smaller pieces really create a few things which we don't like. One is some of them are not very friendly to the skin. Some of the side effects that we see with injection of HA fillers are because we have in it small molecules that the skin doesn't like. So what we developed in Hallura is to do cross-linking in a very different way. You may know that 2 years ago, Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to, I believe, three scientists that developed what they called orthogonal chemistry or click chemistry. And the idea is that you can take a biomolecule, a large one, and attach to it a very small molecule. And if you have two biomolecules and you attach each of them the small molecules, and if these molecules have a strong affinity to each other, they want to connect, you can create cross-linking. Now, originally all of this was developed to mainly the main focus is to attach small molecules to cells for research purposes, and maybe even we took this technology and developed it for cross-linking of hyaluronic acid. The end result is that we get a hyaluronic acid filler that maintains the full length of the molecules of hyaluronic acid. The result is that it is much safer, we see much less side effects, and it also has the natural elasticity of the skin. So patients like it very much because the end result is natural. You don't get the bumpiness of you don't get effects like what we call duck lips when you inject it into the lips. And we also see that it is very regenerative in nature. So this is a product that we are in the process of getting CE mark for, and probably over the next 2 years we'll do FDA work and bring it to the market globally.
So the company name is Hallura.
Hallura, yes. Another thing, I'll just mention it, that we are doing in aesthetic medicine. We developed a new scanning device for aesthetic photography, which is now mainly used in clinical trials because it's very accurate. But in the last 2 years, we developed a smartphone application that does the same thing, that enables you to get a very accurate photo and enables to match before and after. We put lots of AI around it because we have lots of experience with evaluating the skin quality, and all of that is done with a smartphone application. That company is called Cherry. Cherry like the fruit.
Yes. So you mentioned a lot of companies, and already you made a lot of successful companies. So in your opinion, what distinguishes a successful aesthetic medical device company from one that fails?
So, I mean, sometimes people say you are not serious, but luck is a very important element in anything we do. But really the important thing is to, it sounds, how the Americans call it, motherhood and apple pie.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of hard work, taking it very seriously, and understanding your customer. I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah. Understanding the customers. I think every readers of Medical Aesthetic Journal should remember that. Yeah. Is there other message you would like to share with the reader of Medical Aesthetic online journal?
So I think, the important part is don't make shortcuts in anything, but definitely in aesthetic medicine. And we do see, and in a way you mentioned it, we do see sometimes it looks like doing in a medical aesthetic device is very easy. You make a box, you put a screen, then you have a handpiece and 3 or 4 wheels. And they all look very similar to each other. Rather than trying to do it very quickly and bringing it quickly to the market, make sure you do the scientific work and the clinical work properly. I can tell you that in sofwave, we have done about, by now, 15 clinical trials. We treated many hundreds of patients in clinical trials. I'm not talking about commercial use. And that is the main message for us, everybody in this field. We wanted to keep on developing, and in order to do that, we need to make sure we do things right, invest properly in the early days of whatever we develop before we bring it to market.
Oh, thank you very much. Dr. Eckhouse, your insights and experiences are incredibly valuable to us and our readers. We appreciate you taking the time to share your journey and thoughts on evolving field of aesthetic medical devices. We look forward to seeing the continued impact of your innovations in this industry. Thank you very much today.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, thank you very much.